morning, Floss Tubers. This is Barb with Lost and Floss, a channel that's primarily about cross stitch with some other crafty things occasionally thrown in. Today is August 6th, 2024, and this video is not going to be a traditional Lost and Floss video. I'm fortunate to be friends with RoseAnn, and she invited me over to not only see her beautiful cross stitching, primarily Patriotic this time, but also to record it for you to see as well. Her stitching is going to blow you away. She has many unusual pieces, probably because she's been a stitcher for years and years and never took a break like so many of us. She has a lot of pieces that I've never seen stitched before. So I think you'll be very excited to see what she has in store for us and be just encouraged to do a little bit more patriotic stitching. I would say her style is not cutesy. She really could leave her pieces up year round if she chose to do that. But like so many of us, when you have what you label patriotic stitching, there's not necessarily room for all of it up at one time. So she does rotate her things accordingly. And all I can say is sit back and you're going to want to watch this one. We had a few difficulties with glass reflection, so I please, tried my best on all of them. But you may have a little glare that you see coming up. But for the most part, just awesome pieces that she shared. And she's just a note about RoseAnn. She is truly one of the kindest women I have met. She, accordingly, for her career as a nurse, which suits her well. She's a mom, a wife of, two youngest going off to college now. Just when she invites you over, she truly is welcoming you into her home. And it reminds me of how I grew up with my mom was that way. And it's just a pleasure to be invited to her house when she has you for lunch. The little details she has are just make any gathering that she hosts very, very special. So I hope you enjoy what you see following. And as I mentioned, she's Redfection Stitching is her handle on Instagram. And so if you have not followed her there, I highly suggest you start, because she has some wonderful pieces and isn't always stitching what everyone else is stitching, which kind of fun to see some more unusual pieces. So I guess that's all I need to say as an introduction. I hope you enjoy. And, send her a message too, because obviously she can read the comments here too. And so I hope you enjoy and take care. All right. Well, do you want to say
hello, FlossTube?
This is my friend RoseAnn.
This is my friend Barb.
So, RoseAnn, on Instagram, you are
Redfection Stitcher.
Okay. I had to put that in your contacts on my phone, because whenever I was looking for you, your, what is it? It's not a channel, but what is it on Instagram?
Handle?
Your handle, yes. That sounds like CD.
I haven't.
Going back to those days. Gen 4. Oh boy, we're already off track. So, anyways, this is a special edition today. RoseAnn is a prolific, long-term stitcher. She was nice enough a while back to let me show her samplers, and she followed through on her own without me pestering her with the opportunity for us to see her patriotic stitching today. And
So I love patriotic stitching, and I think I love fall stitching, and I love Thanksgiving, and I love all samplers, and I love red samplers and houses. But there's something special about patriotic stitching, and as Carol Saltbach says, you can leave it up from May until, I always say September 11th is my, when it starts getting,
that's nice.
that's my pack up time.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I didn't think about the significance of that because I always think September 1st. I have to have it down.
I used to always take it down on Labor Day, and then with September 11th, I will pack up like a tablecloth, but my walls, everything stays up until September 11th.
That's great.
So that's my stitching time for my display time. So if you come between now and September 11th, you'll see it.
So I forgot to mention that today is August 4th, 2024. And we already introduced ourselves. And so this is the Lost and Floss channel. But what you're going to see here today is amazing. And
I don't know if it's that amazing, Barb.
Oh, it is amazing. And if you're amazed by this, go back. I don't even know what video it was, but you'll be able to find it in my channel and look at RoseAnn's everyday stuff because
I've been stitching since the 80s. And August 1982, I just had a discussion with my cousin Sue, who taught me how to stitch. And I have thanked her. I can never thank her enough because learning to stitch and what stitching has meant to me and how it has gotten me through life crisis and general life, I will always be grateful that I can stitch. So I have stitched, and the needle and thread always pull me through. So
that's lovely. I wish I hadn't taken a long hiatus. I mean, I think back and it's like, I stitched probably, I remember making, like, there was this heart with your established date you were married, and then you put each child with a separate little heart pillow. Actually, I have that hanging up north. I was going to get rid of it. And Jim's like, well, like, why?
It's your cross-stitch journey.
Yeah. But then, I mean, and I did a lot of that waist canvas sweatshirts, which I still have one I'm going to put on someday. And, much more, well, I don't know if mine was mittens or something. So it's pretty generic. But, then I stopped in like maybe the 90s and didn't get back to it until probably like 6 years ago. So I'm really jealous.
Well, I never took a break, but there were years where I didn't stitch very much. I had kids, I worked full time, I had a very busy life. So I didn't always have a lot of stitching time, but I never took one of those breaks where I gave away everything.
Well, and I didn't have a lot. I mostly bought for a project, and then, like I did Christmas stockings for my kids and my nephew, and then it just kind of fell by the wayside. So I was doing so much crafting for craft shows that I think my personal crafting kind of took a dive. So, but anyways, well, this is about RoseAnn, not me. So pardon me for blah blahing on. But first, we're going to kick it off with RoseAnn showing us what she's working on right now.
So Barb and I were talking because Barb and I are not monogamous stitchers. Monogamy is for marriage, not for stitching.
Maybe that'll be the title of this video.
I've been married for 26 years.
Oh, you're a newbie.
I am. How many years have you been married?
I always have to stop and count. 41. 41, yes.
So I stitch a lot of different things. So right now I have 3 projects I grabbed. The first one is, I'm going to just hold it up. It's by Needlework Press, and it's Needlework A Joyful Art. And this is how far I am.
It's so pretty.
And I do love words. I love verses, and I especially love this one. And so it says, I joyfully apply myself to the needlework that is to be done. I am grateful for the ability to do this art. And this is a verse that is attributed to Saint Clare of Assisi, who is the patron saint of embroiderers, and her feast day is next Sunday. So my goal is to get it done by Sunday.
Well, and I'll have to make
tuned.
a note of that.
Stay tuned. Okay, next is Many Mansions. This is by Annie Bees, and Annie Bees is a Wisconsin designer. She moved.
Yeah,
we
drafted her.
We drafted her. She went from the Bears to the Packers.
Brought her whole family with her.
It was a big signing.
Okay.
And so I am not somebody who goes changing colors, but I did change colors here. And because I love red houses, the house became red. Oh, thank you. So that's the
chart.
And so the house is red, and the brick pillars, posts are red. And I changed the windows. They were supposed to be the same color as the roof, and I just lightened them up because I thought otherwise things could get too dark. So
what kind of flosses are you stitching in?
this is in silk, and it is 46 count. It's the called for Dolly Madison. Annie stitched the model on 36 count, and this is 46 count, which I have to just point out my L&S, which is really not my L&S, because we in Milwaukee we have no stitch shops. If you're listening and you're in the Milwaukee area and you'd like to open a needlework store, we would support you.
Yes, we have a posse of a lot of people who would support you.
Yes.
So come on.
But I have a friend down the road, 4 miles away, Lisa.
Yes.
And I saw this and I'm like, I have to stitch this right away. This Bible verse is very meaningful. Again, the words. In my father's house are many mansions. And I saw this, it was a market release this year. And I'm like, I gotta stitch this. Like, stop everything, squirrel. But I needed Dolly Madison linen, and I called everywhere. And I'm telling Lisa my search, and she said, oh, I have that. So here it is.
Could have saved you hours on the phone, right?
Yes, a lot of hours on the phone. And then this is my last project. This is Cardinal Kin, and it's the Plum Street design with the Katie Strachan silk conversion. I have to get going. I want to finish this. So
Cardinal Kin?
Kin, K-I-N.
I thought you said Kenneth.
Now this is not, so Katie Strachan did the silk conversion, and I cannot find the picture of hers, but this is what the picture looks like. She did it on this blue fabric, which I think is really stunning. And I do love red cardinals.
Yeah,
so.
I really like it too.
So that's what I'm stitching on.
Well, I just have to, go ahead.
So I did finish One Nation, which is the 50 states and stars. It looks like a flag. It's at the frame shop. But normally I'd still be stitching on something patriotic, but I'm kind of, I put so much into getting that done. I need to move on to.
Can't wait to see that.
I'm very excited to get that done.
Yeah.
Yes, to get it.
How many months?
It didn't take that long. So a needle worker said to me, if you stitch one state and one star, it goes pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And her thing was stitch one state, one star per week. I went a little extreme, so I did stitch on it pretty solidly for a while. But
yeah. Well, that'll be exciting to get it back.
It's a big piece.
So you'll have to look for it on Instagram, right?
Yes.
So
what were you going to say?
I don't know. It was like ramble talk about cardinals. But well, all right. Now I have to tell this story.
Yes.
So yeah. Took my granddaughter out for dessert yesterday, and it was like this little fancy French restaurant that's in a Milwaukee suburb. And as we're sitting there, this man walks in. Honestly, I thought he was my dad.
Really?
He looked that much like my dad. And so I had my granddaughter pose, and I took a picture of him in the background, and just his mannerisms and how he stood, and it was just kind of crazy. And then so I took a picture of like Jocelyn's to the side, and I kind of zeroed in on him more, because I thought, I can't go up to this random guy and say, can I take your picture? So I sent it to I blew it up and sent the picture just to my siblings, and they were like kind of flabbergasted how much he looked like it. Not so much when he turned to the face, frontwards, but anyways, then I got in the car, and I don't know if you ever heard that song Cardinal. I don't know who it's even by. It's like kind of a poppy song.
Okay.
Are you sending me a message from the other side?
Was
on the radio. So I was just like, okay.
So I really do think there's something about cardinals, and maybe I'm full of...
We have one living in our yard. So
But this morning I was thinking about my mom, and I went over to water my neighbor's flowers, and sitting in the tree looking at me watering the flowers is a beautiful female cardinal, just like...
Unreal.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I'll take those things and go with it.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. We're really getting off on a tangent. We'll never get done with this. So I will try to save my stories for another time.
Have stories.
I know.
We're storytellers. That's our problem.
Oh, yeah.
Among others.
I gotta zip it. Well,
all right.
Let's, now that we've shown your beautiful in progress whips, let's go over to the fireplace.
Okay.
And now look at this beautiful display. I love how you intersperse like the eagle and the stars and your little patriotic guy.
So right in the center, this is a very old frame. The company, I don't even know if they still exist. It's Hinzite, and you bought the frame and you bought the chart pack, and I love that America. That was a very fun stitch. My mom helped me get those charms on. They're not easy charms to get on, but
that's a cool memory.
It's a very cool memory. So
that one I've never seen.
This has got to be like in the 90s. Again, this is old stuff up here. This fish, and I always have the memory of, some people buy souvenirs when they go on a trip. I have the memory of stitching some of these, and my in-laws had a cottage in the UP, Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and they sold it, and this was the last thing I stitched at the cottage, and it was on a beautiful lake, Sawyer Lake, and so that fish has a little special significance, and we would go fishing when we were up there. The frame is a Hog River frame, and I loved Hog River frames. The company closed business a while ago. I was fortunate. I bought that frame and another frame. We'll get to that frame. And they're both from the same Blackbird book. And so that's that little frame is from Black Hog River frame.
Yeah.
And the fish it's a blackbird design. And these two, I think, were
I gotta zoom out. Okay.
Maybe Bent Creek. I'm not exactly sure. They're old.
They kind of have that.
Yeah, that's why I think this was. Remember Elian Gonzalez, the boy from Cuba? I never realized this is like, I know, that was going on when I stitched this, and somebody thought because the Cuban flag really does kind of look like this.
Oh.
And somebody thought I was like stitching the Cuban.
I don't really remember that.
So no, it's not the Cuban flag. It was just some random star with stripes.
Oh my gosh.
And then these 4 flags, this is from a Vanessa Ann book from probably the 90s or maybe even the 80s. And it had different flags you could pick. And my dad loved flags and he loved history. And so the 2 of us had fun picking those 4 flags. And this was probably from like 1990, 1989. That's a lot of blue solid stitching when I look at it.
Oh yeah, I love the guy next to him.
Yes. Sometimes he falls down and my son says, it's a family joke, he'll take a picture and he'll say, man down.
Oh, I love how you have what's
Bunting?
it called? Bunting.
Yes.
That's a very
I
nice
just want to
touch.
say there's a very cool young man in New Glarus who loves flags, and I hope he's watching because I'm thinking about you when I look at that.
Oh.
So,
Cool.
you know who you are.
Oh.
All right.
All right, so then we're going to go.
Then we are going over here. So I've got, this is not patriotic.
Okay, wait a second.
It just never,
Okay.
So this is Scarlet Letter, and talking about frames, the Scarlet Letter used to make frames, and this is one of those frames. I wish I would have bought every frame they made.
That's really cool.
It's really cool. This is a blackbird design, the stitching, and then this is a Hog River frame. And so this is from the same book as the fish. I don't remember the book, but it was recently released.
Yeah.
And then over there is from the Scarlet House. And I just love that.
Are we on the top one?
We're on the top.
Okay.
And so this is I love that. I love that brownstone house. That was just like so much fun to stitch. Sometimes you get done stitching and you don't want something to be over.
Yeah.
That was that. This is from Heartstring Samplery. And I probably worked on this for 3 years. Not solid, but that blue thread, it just kind of got a little tiring, and then I would change it, and I'd stitch something else. But
it's a cool piece, though. I
it's
like
a
how
very
you
cool
framed
piece.
it.
Yes. Time ago, and I think it's the Pledge of Allegiance. I think it was called Stitches from the Heartland, and it was a special white. You can take that off. I've got a witch that goes on it also.
Oh my gosh!
But I really love this. So it's the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, I love that. Now, I found this like rectangular flag or lamp that I put a piece on, and I still have room on the other side. But now I'm thinking, I want to do more than just one more.
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, I love this little
Thank
guy.
you.
Oh, and these pieces.
So this flag is Chessie and Me. It has different stitches.
Oh my.
And I had a lot of fun doing that.
I love that one.
So I'm a Chessie and Me. I have some others that I've stitched. This is Grant House, and his campaign slogan was "Let us have peace." And that is his house, a replica stitched of his house in Galena, Illinois.
Oh, that's neat.
And Preserve the Union. I'm on a little campaign for Ulysses Grant because poor President Grant doesn't get the recognition he should. And he was a president during a very difficult time in our nation's history. So this has been it was a very comforting stitch when I stitched it because we were in a rough time as a country. And I love the eagle. I do like stitching eagles.
Yeah,
I know some people who don't, but...
And who is that by?
This is Chessie and Me.
Oh,
so
okay.
Chessie and Me, the Liberty for All flag. If we need to turn that off.
Is it just there?
And
no.
these two pieces. So this is Grant House.
Now I'm getting big time. I'm getting my halo in the glass.
Should I turn?
Now it's better. I think
Okay.
I just need to come in from this side. Oh, look how cool that is. Like some of these I've seen the charts, but I've never seen them stitched up.
Well, and I think Chessie and Me, the pictures don't quite do the detail of the finished piece justice. She has good pictures, but when you see them up close in person, you're like,
yeah, really
wow,
cool.
Right.
And then
this is Lincoln's house. So this is Lincoln's house with some little speck of something. So this is Lincoln's house in Springfield, Illinois. And this was what he said when he left Springfield for the last time. And he was already elected president, but these were his parting words. I like to see a man proud of the place in which he lives. I like to see a man live so that his place is proud of him.
Wow.
So my father-in-law said once, when you come to RoseAnn's house, you read her walls.
Well, but what impresses me is the story. I would be, well, I like how this looks, but I know it's something about history, but I can't quite remember. Very, very cool.
And I love the eagle.
Yeah.
So I have stitched this 3 times. I have given 2 as gifts, and this last one is my gift to myself.
Aww.
And it's Ruth Sparrow, Twisted Threads. I love this, and it's one of those pieces I took it on vacation. It was like watching the kids at the pool because you don't really need a pattern for it. It's just stitching.
Right.
And I probably had it in my bag for a year, and it's soccer warm-up and all of that. But that's the story of the little flag, the itty-bitty.
Yeah.
And this is a Brenda Gervais. And...
Oh, is yours glued on?
It is glued on.
Oh, that was smart. Mine always comes off.
I think it was my finisher who's smart, not me. Take full credit. Give full credit. I love that.
I love that one too. When I saw it come out, I'm like, I don't always spring for things right away, but I'm like, no, that.
And I love alphabet, so this red, and of course it's red, so that's even more perfect.
Yeah, that fabric I love. And then Glory?
Glory is Shakespeare's Peddler, and that was in the Punch Needlework magazine. There are 2 more Glory Hallelujahs on my other wall. The Battle Hymn of the Republic is a very special hymn. It was my dad's favorite hymn. When we would go on a trip, we would all pick a song to sing, and he always picked the Battle Hymn of the Republic. We always sang all 4 verses.
Would you like to start now, Roseanne? I don't think I could probably go more than the refrain.
Because no one should hear Roseanne sing. If I start singing, my kids will come down.
They'll demand my phone.
Yes. They will hit me with their water guns. But so it's a very special piece.
Yes.
And if there'd be another Glory Hallelujah that some designer would happen to design, I would stop what I'm doing and stitch it right away, which is where there's 2 more we're going to see.
Wow. And
this is drawn thread. This has some specialty stitches also, and I just love stitching those eagles. I love the specialty stitches.
That's a pretty one.
Yes.
And another great frame.
And I have one over here that I'm just going to quick grab.
Okay. This lighting seems really good down here.
We might have to bring everything over here. So this is from, I'm just having a blank moment. Country Cottage, I'm pretty sure. And I started stitching this, and I remember this very well because during the pandemic, they started allowing the kids to have basketball practice, and they were only allowing them to practice outside. So I would take my daughter to practice, sit on a park bench, and this was my park bench stitching. So every time I look at this, that's my memory.
Yeah. You know, and what a good idea for framing. Like, look at those little rosettes. You could just glue them on a plain frame, and I think I have some of those in my craft drawers. But it would just fancy it up, and that's a really cool frame.
I think these add so much.
Yeah, because they kind of mimic.
Yes.
Now that I'm not showing it.
Sorry.
They kind of mimic the feel of the medallion things.
Yes.
Really pretty.
All right.
I'm going to show this because I really like it.
My cousin Sue, who taught me to stitch, gave this to me, and it's like my thread band.
Yeah, but it's so cute. That's a great idea. Okay, who is this little girl?
This is, oh my God, I will tell you, we'll edit it in.
Okay.
It's Homespun Elegance.
Oh, there you go.
And I love stitching her. This again, probably late 90s, maybe early 2000. The stars were cut out, separately stitched on with star buttons, and the frame was from Homespun Elegance.
That's really cool because, you're just adding some different mediums to the stitch piece. And
I have a tree skirt. My mom stitched the Santas, and I'm actually thinking about getting some green wool and just appliquing the trees on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And just to add a little extra dimension. Yeah. And it would be easier to applique wool's trees than stitch a big tree.
You'd be done in the afternoon.
Yes. Okay. And this is, because you always have to have your scissors and fob match your shirt.
Oh. Do you, RoseAnn?
Yes. So here we go.
Oh my gosh. That's taking it to an extreme. But I love it.
Maureen Appleton from the Heart's Content, and I don't think she's designing anymore, and I don't even know if you can buy this, but this was a kit, and it came out, I believe, 2002, right? The first spring after September 11th. Mm-hmm. And again, this is one of those pieces you don't need a pattern really, you just stitch it. I think I was much younger back then, and I could stitch in a car, and that's how I got that very fine.
Yeah. It's cute too with the beads on it.
Yeah.
And plus I love chain scissor fobs, but they always get tangled for me. Yeah. So the corded ones are really great.
So this is...
I don't have a Patriotic scissor fob. Oh well.
Oh well.
Oh my goodness.
So John Kennedy here, that I did not stitch. That was a Save the Stitches. I just could not let it. I couldn't walk by it.
Where did you find
conscience.
That?
It was somebody who was just getting rid of it, and she was going to throw it away, and I'm like,
oh my gosh, I love that. And look how simple that is.
Yes.
We always think we have to do all these complicated things, but.
And again, the eagle and a verse.
Yeah. Yep. And then...
This is a Cricut collection, and that came out right after September 11th. And that's just a very special it's a special verse to me and the meaning behind it.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. Oh, and this little girl I
This
recognize.
little girl is a Plum Street, and these two pincushions were just fun to stitch.
This one, I didn't even see that one there.
And this is a canning jar.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this I bought as a kit, and I'm having a blank moment on, somebody's probably yelling it out. I love these colors.
Yes. Well, and I stitched this one, but I changed it because I have it in, I have 3 stars that actually are like candle pillar holders.
Oh.
And so I put the circular stitches in, so I actually changed the colors to match the other 2 pieces.
Did not realize. I had grabbed it. I was going away for a weekend, and I didn't realize the colors were kind of black and white, or that different tone. So I like it.
Yeah.
It's just a little different.
And this one I love.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Those colors are perfect. Faith, family. I can't read the
Faith, family, freedom,
freedom.
and country.
Well, I mean, I could, but my phone is in the way.
Yes.
Make it sound like I'm illiterate.
You're not.
That's really pretty. And I love the frames you choose.
Thank you.
Okay, which way do we want to go?
Okay, should we start here?
Sure.
So
I think I'm going to have to get on this side
Okay,
of you.
this is a Cricut collection. I stitched it for my mom and dad's anniversary, and the house I grew up in, we had this dormer, we didn't have this cupola on top, but it just there was a lot that reminded me of them, and my parents were 2 very wonderful people, and home was really special to them, and they made home very special for my sister and I. So that is home from the Cricut collection. This is
Little House Needleworks?
Yes, Little House Needleworks.
I only know it because I stitched it.
Thank you.
Yours looks much nicer.
And I think this is Bent Creek.
Oh, that's cool.
I stitched that one summer, and it was one of those zippers, and it was my project that I would stitch when we were in the car. And when we would leave my mom's house, we'd stop at Starbucks, and the people at Starbucks would always ask, "How far are you on that eagle?"
Jeez.
So that's like the memory of the eagle.
Like one time I was on a plane stitching, and the flight attendant was like, "What are you working on?" And all interested.
Yes.
But then she came back and she's like, "Could you fix the hem on my pants?" And I'm like, "With you in them?" And then I said, "Well, I could." And but then she must have thought it was probably a little too weird to have asked someone that. And live simply.
So that's not patriotic,
No,
but
it looks nice.
It
with
looks
everything.
nice.
Oh, and look at
This is a Cricut collection. You're probably getting the glare
Yeah,
there.
I am.
And it had an alphabet at the top, and I just opted not to stitch it. It's, I think, from the 80s or 90s.
Sorry, people.
That's okay. Just do whatever you need to do.
We're both reflected in it. Here, maybe if I go this way. It's funny how some of them just... Okay, let's move on to the bottom ones.
So this is another Battle Hymn of the Republic. This one was the one that gave me fits. And I don't remember stitching so much as I remember how much ripping I had to do. If Jean Lee is listening to this, she's going to be disappointed in me that I rip.
Oh.
Here's a fun fact about Battle Hymn of the Republic. So the hymn was created by Julia Ward Howe, and she is also the person who is credited with creating Mother's Day. So, and she was a suffragette. She had an amazing story, but I'm trying to think how many patriotic hymns are written by women. And I think that might be the only one. I need to do some research to confirm that. But
in my did you come prepared with that?
I did not come prepared, but I love the Battle Hymn of the Republic. So
yeah.
This is the very first Blackbird I stitched, and there used to be a store in Racine called Calico Canvas and Colors, and they came back from a trade show, and I think it was the first trade show that Blackbird was at, and they called me up and they said, "We're holding a book for you. Come here right away. You're going to love this." And they were 100% right. I have loved Blackbird. I wish I had stitched more.
Yeah. Wow.
But I have stitched quite a few. But that was my first Blackbird.
That's really a cool one.
And this is another Battle Hymn of the Republic. And this is from My Big Toe Designs.
Really, and look at that, the borders.
So the funny thing, everybody can laugh at me and that's fine. I don't know how I ended up with these two frames identical, but...
Oh, they are. I didn't even notice that.
I like that frame a lot.
Yeah, well, that shows, and I like it. It is a nice, neutral,
yes,
patriotic going frame.
All right, now...
I don't want to knock.
You cannot...
knocked your stitch thing off. When I
My dog's
pivoted.
tail has done the same thing. Kids have done. You won't be the first. So this is Erica Michaels, and this is Abraham Lincoln's second inaugural address. And I like words, so stitching this was very meaningful to me because he really does talk about taking care of veterans, and this was as the Civil War is ending, and unfortunately just before a month later he died. So we all need to think about veterans and their widows and their orphans and their long-term care.
And their husbands.
And their husbands, yes.
Not just men.
Yes. And their spouses.
Yes.
Yes, because it is not just men, it's spouses.
Well, and just, the scars they come home with,
yes,
whether physical or mental.
And I think a lot of times those scars aren't as seen to the public, but to our naked eyes as the deep scars they carry.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this one's awesome, Roseanne.
So this is called 272 Words. It's the Gettysburg Address. And one night I was wanting to stitch this for a long time and I was overwhelmed by it. And then I thought, 272 words, there's 90 days in summer. If I did 3 words every day, I'd have it done.
Wow.
So that's what I did.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Yes. So that's my 272 words.
Wow. I love just the simpleness of the border, and it's perfect.
I stitched it over 1. I started stitching it over 2, and I remember I was sitting with my mom and we were talking about it, and we're like, that's going to be huge.
It's going to be a blanket.
It will be a blanket. It'd be an Afghan, a lap robe.
Really nice.
Thank you.
Oh my God. This one, I just pulled out of my stash because I'm thinking this might be on the other side of my lamp.
That would be cool on the other side of your lamp, Barb.
That's really cute. I've never...
When we bought our house, I bought the clock. And then I bought that and I started stitching it. That was like the first thing I really stitched for our house. And now that my youngest is going to college in a few weeks, I really do believe Tempus Fugit, time flies.
Yeah. Isn't it? It's amazing.
Yes, it is amazing.
You have these little kids that you think will
Yes.
never sleep the night. And then you have teenagers that you can't get out of bed. Just to wrap this up, thank you so much, Roseanne.
Thank you, FlossTube.
I think you guys are obviously blown away by what Roseanne has showed us today. I certainly was, and you know,
just remember, stitch patriotic and keep your scissors matching your top.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be my goal next year. I'm gonna try to get scissor tops that match patriotic stitching, or maybe any season really. I kind of dropped the ball on that. I was very much a seasonal stitcher when I came back to cross stitch, and still kind of cursing myself for it, because like if there were 5 of basically the same chart, I had to do all 5 instead of just doing patriotic or, you know, the Christmas one I liked, whatever. So I totally admire what you've created, your skill, and just how she puts it together. It just, you know, it reminds me a lot of how Leanne would decorate, and so that's got a special place in my heart. I mean, like this would have been her mantle. So,
you know, I was thinking about all the great people, the great ladies who have been born in August. And Leanne was definitely one of them.
Yep. Her birthday is coming up, and
yes, and we, to celebrate her birthday, it's something.
Yes. Leanne's legacy. Hashtag Leanne's legacy.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm
August 24th.
Going to be starting some fall related.
Okay, that would be, she would want
fall.
That. Yes.
Yeah, and in fact, that's when they got married, because she loved fall so much, and well, she loved everything. I mean, other than Easter, she wasn't real. I mean, not that she didn't like Easter itself, but the colors didn't go in her house. So she always said, I don't really do spring, or, you know, oh my gosh, just rambling.
We remember Leanne though, and Leanne's legacy.
Yeah, and you know, I think that goes along with news of Daleen Wilson
very
passing,
right.
And you know, like I said to some of my other stitchy friends, we were texting and that came up, and I said, you know, now I know how the community felt when Leanne died, because like she wasn't a stitcher that I had never met. You know, she was my best friend from, you know, 15 on. So, you know, it was a little bit different, but you know, now I realize like how much of an impact other people can make that you've never met.
Yes.
So, you know, my heart goes out to
mine too.
Many of you who, you know, she was a close friend to, and you know, I
was
always
an amazing lady. I wish I could have met her in person, but through social media, you do feel like you know people in a way.
Yeah, and you know, like never underestimate the impact you can make on others.
Correct. Very true.
And as I always sign off, continue to fill the world with love. So
thank you.
Thank you so much, RoseAnn, and I hope you enjoy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Barb.
Bye.
Bye.